A viral video of Patrick and Brittany Mahomes at the World Cup has fans wondering if something is wrong in their relationship. After cameras caught the couple sitting apart, breakup rumors spread across social media almost instantly. So what really happened? Let me break it down. So here's what actually happened at Arrowhead. Argentina and Switzerland were playing a World Cup quarterfinal, and Patrick Mahomes was there, decked out and locked in. Brittany was there too, and a clip started circling that showed the two of them nowhere near each other, not next to each other, not across an aisle, actually in different rows during the match, with Mahomes seen sitting in a row behind Brittany, busy on his phone while she watched the game. That's it. That's the whole visual, but that's all it took. One fan posted it with the caption, "Mahomes not even sitting with Brittany LMAO." Another turned it into a meme entirely, joking that it looked like breaking, married couple gets into argument. A third account framed it even more bluntly, showing Mahomes tucked away in a whole different row, tagging it Tears Son. And this wasn't just American football Twitter having fun. It crossed borders. A journalist writing for a Portuguese language outlet, Danilo Lecal, posted about it too, saying it struck him as odd that it's really weird that Mahomes isn't with Brittany, calling it just a detail that might be silly but weird. When a South American journalist is commenting on where an NFL quarterback's wife is sitting during a soccer match, you know the clip has legs. Then came the theories. Some fans floated the simplest explanation: a seating mix-up, assigned sweet tickets, nothing personal. But plenty more weren't buying that. As one post put it, many fans were quick to note that the couple must be hitting a rough patch, since they chose to sit in completely different rows. Comment sections split into two camps almost instantly: the "it's nothing" crowd and the "something's off" crowd. And the "something's off" crowd got loud. One comment on a sports blog didn't hold back, writing that Mahomes already knew what was coming. Another went further, insisting Brittany was simply annoying AF, as if that explained the whole seating chart on its own. Under a separate post about the clip, one fan wrote something that read almost like a prediction, saying he always knew my GOAT couldn't stand her all the time, adding that America's quarterback can't be going through no messy divorce though in the middle of his prime, with small kids in the picture, and that he'd ride this one out till the kid's grown. That's a lot of conviction from a stadium photo. But here's the thing that made this story different from a normal fans overreact to nothing cycle. It didn't stop at the seating. A second piece of footage started making the rounds. This one zoomed in tight on Mahomes' face during the match, and it caught him mid-sentence, clearly saying something to nobody in particular. Animated, worked up, and that's when the account ML Football picked it up and pushed it into a different gear entirely, posting that this video of the Chiefs quarterback and his wife sitting at the World Cup had gone viral across social media, and professional lip readers had some very interesting interpretations of what was said. Lip readers, plural, getting called in on a soccer quarterfinal. That's the moment this stopped being a "why aren't they sitting together" story and became something bigger. A full-blown internet investigation into two people who didn't ask to be investigated. Because once lip readers get involved, the story isn't about seating charts anymore. It's about what was actually said, and people wanted answers. So a professional lip reader named Nicola Hickling, who runs Lip Reader Ltd. and has done this kind of frame-by-frame breakdown before for outlets covering everything from award shows to press conferences, got the footage. And what she came back with only added fuel? According to her read, Mahomes appeared visibly frustrated while watching the match unfold. Frustrated, not smiling, not relaxed date night energy. Frustrated. That single word did more work for this story than almost anything else. Because once frustrated got attached to the footage of him sitting alone, scrolling his phone, rows away from his wife, the entire clip reframed itself in people's minds. It wasn't just a funny seating mix-up anymore. It was evidence, or at least it felt like evidence, which on the internet is often close enough. And that's where we have to pause and actually rewind the tape. Because before we get into exactly what the lip reader claims, he said word for word, you need the full picture of who these two are, what they were doing at that stadium in the first place, and why a soccer match in Kansas City turned into one of the most talked about celebrity moments of the entire World Cup. Because the deeper you go into this one, the stranger the timeline gets. Let's back up, because a lot of people watching this clip assumed Mahomes was just a celebrity dragged to a soccer game by his wife for a date. That is not what happened. Mahomes has been circling this World Cup for weeks, and it's not a passing interest, it's an investment, literally. Despite his NFL career, Mahomes has invested heavily in soccer, standing as a co-owner of the Kansas City Current, which competes in the National Women's Soccer League, and holding minority ownership stakes in MLS side Sporting Kansas City. This isn't a guy who bought a jersey and called himself a fan. He's got equity in the sport, in his own city, across 2 different leagues. And Brittany's connection actually goes back further than his. Before she was known as an NFL wife with a lifestyle brand and a stake in ownership, she was a player. She comes from a soccer background, having been a forward for the University of Texas at Tyler Patriots from 2013 to 2016. She didn't just play. She was good enough that Brittany was inducted into the UT Tyler Athletics Hall of Fame, having scored 31 goals in 70 games. And she didn't stop at college. Following college, she signed a professional contract and played internationally for 1 year in Iceland with the pro club UMF Afturelding, before retiring in 2017 and moving back to the US to focus on fitness entrepreneurship. So when people frame this couple's World Cup appearance as some kind of celebrity photo op, that's missing the point entirely. Their appearance at the quarterfinal wasn't just a coincidence. It was a visit from 2 people deeply invested in the sport itself. Now here's where it gets specific to that night, and specific to Mahomes personally. He hasn't just been a background attendee at this tournament. He's been loud about it. Mahomes has been involved quite a lot in the tournament, especially when it comes to Lionel Messi in Argentina, publicly labeling Messi the GOAT on social media after Argentina's dramatic comeback against Egypt in the round of 16. He wasn't quietly rooting for a team. He was out there, on the record, picking a side. And he dressed the part. For the Argentina-Switzerland quarterfinal specifically, the exact match where the seeding clip came from, the Chiefs quarterback wore a customized, limited edition Argentina jersey, a collaboration between Adidas and Thrasher. This is not a man trying to blend into the crowd. This is a man who wanted to be seen wearing Argentina's colors at Arrowhead, which actually matters, because it adds a wrinkle nobody was talking about when the trouble in the relationship theories were flying. If Mahomes was locked into that match, invested in the result, invested in Messi's tournament, wearing a custom kit, then some of that frustration the lip reader picked up on might have had nothing to do with who he was or wasn't sitting next to. It might have had everything to do with the football on the field. And the football on the field was genuinely chaotic. Argentina and Switzerland fought their way into extra time before 2 emphatic goals gave Argentina a 3-1 victory and a ticket to the semifinals. That's not a comfortable, glued-to-your-seat tuto cruise. That's a nervy match that stretched deep into extra time before finally breaking open. Alexis Mac Allister, Julian Alvarez, and Lautaro Martinez provided the goals, while much of the pre-match buzz inside Arrowhead centered on Messi and a star-studded crowd that included Mahomes. Think about what that means for 90-plus minutes of a Chiefs quarterback's body language. A tense, scoreless match that drags into overtime is exactly the kind of game that produces exactly the kind of face the internet decided meant trouble at home. Restless leg, phone checking during a lull, muttering under your breath when a chance gets wasted. Athletes do this at games they're not even emotionally invested in. And Mahomes, by his own public statements, was invested in this one. But even accounting for all of that, people weren't just reacting to a bad camera angle catching a bored guy at a soccer game. The seating thing kept nagging at people, because Mahomes and Brittany do not have a history of sitting apart at events. Quite the opposite. Their public appearances tend to be the type where they're glued to each other, hand on the shoulder, matching outfits, the whole aesthetic. So when a suite full of open seating options produced a shot of him a literal row behind her on his phone, it read as a choice rather than an accident to a lot of the people watching. That's really the engine behind why this clip did numbers, instead of just disappearing into the churn of World Cup content. It wasn't the soccer, it was the contrast between how this couple usually looks in public and how they looked that night. And once that contrast got noticed, it opened the door for the lip readers, the divorce jokes, and the full internet tribunal that followed. A tribunal that by the next morning had moved well past "are they sitting apart" and into "what exactly did he say?" Okay, so let's get into the specifics, because this is the part that turned a seating photo into a full news cycle. Once the frustration red went public, professional lip reader Nicola Hickling, working this time on behalf of the outlet Covers.com, did what she does. A frame-by-frame breakdown of Mahomes' mouth movements throughout the broadcast, trying to reconstruct exactly what he was saying in real time as he sat there, alone, animated, mouthing words to no one in particular. Her first read was tied to a moment where the game clearly wasn't going the way Mahomes wanted it to. According to her interpretation, he was heard reacting to what looked like a missed chance in the match, saying flatly, "That was a goal right there." That's a football guy watching a different sport and reacting like a coach on the sideline. Not exactly scandalous on its own, but it's the next moment that really caught fire. Because as the match dragged on and the tension built, Hickling's red had him getting visibly more worked up, mouthing the words, "This is not happening." Now, on paper, "this is not happening" is a phrase that could mean absolutely anything. It's the kind of thing you say when your team blows a chance in stoppage time. It's also, conveniently, exactly the kind of vague, ominous phrase that internet sleuths can bend into whatever story they already wanted to tell. And a lot of people wanted to tell a very specific story that night. Then things got almost comedic, because in the middle of all this tension reading and frustration decoding, the lip reader's next interpretation had him saying something that had nothing to do with soccer, marriage, or drama at all. According to her breakdown, at one point Mahomes appeared to mouth, "Get me 2 burgers," before yawning. 2 burgers in the middle of a World Cup quarterfinal that people were calling a marriage crisis in real time. And then, almost self-aware of how it looked, the read caught him seemingly cracking a joke at his own expense, mouthing something like, "I mean, look at me yawning and sitting here," followed by a laugh. Read the whole sequence back to back and it stops sounding like a man unraveling next to his estranged wife. It starts sounding like a bored, hungry guy at a long, scoreless soccer match who wanted food and was making fun of himself for yawning on camera. That's a very different vibe than furious outburst, which is honestly how more than one outlet chose to headline this story. But here's the tension that made this whole saga so sticky for 5 straight days of content. The internet had already decided what it wanted the story to be before the lip reader even weighed in. The seating photo came first, the divorce jokes came first, the "he already knew what was coming" comments came first. So when the lip reading came out, a mixed bag of football complaints, a burger request, and a self-deprecating laugh, a lot of people simply grabbed the one word that fit their narrative, frustrated, and ran with it. It's worth sitting with how fast this moved. The match happened on a Saturday evening. Within roughly 48 hours, there were multiple competing headlines running simultaneously. One calling it a couple, clearly avoiding each other. Another calling it a viral clip sparking marriage speculation. Another treating the lip read breakdown as its own standalone news event. 3 different angles on the same 11 seconds of footage, each one designed to keep the story alive one more news cycle. And through all of it, neither Mahomes nor Brittany said a single word publicly about any of it. No statement, no denial, no cheeky Instagram caption addressing the chatter. No report suggested any issues beyond the speculation itself, but the silence from the 2 of them did nothing to slow it down. If anything, it gave the story more oxygen, because there was nothing to fact-check it against except more theories. That silence is actually the hinge point of this whole thing, because up until now, everything driving this story has come from strangers reading a photo and a muted video clip. Nobody had actually asked the 2 people at the center of it what was going on, and what happened next in terms of what the couple did with their actual public appearances in the days that followed, is where this story either confirms what people feared or quietly deflates it. Here's where the story gets a layer more complicated, because the seating photo wasn't examined in a vacuum. Fans dug up context, and that context cut in 2 completely different directions depending on who you asked. On one side, people defending the couple pointed out something that undercut the marriage in trouble theory almost immediately: timing. The night before this quarterfinal, Mahomes and Brittany were seen together, present and accounted for at a wedding for one of his former teammates. As it was put at the time, some defended the couple, noting that they were together a day earlier at Patrick Mahomes' former Chiefs teammate, Juju Smith-Schuster's wedding. Think about that sequence, less than 24 hours before the avoiding each other clip went viral. They were publicly together at a wedding, an event where couples in crisis don't typically show up arm in arm, smiling for photos, celebrating someone else's marriage. That's a pretty inconvenient detail for the divorce theory to explain away. On the other side, though, people pushing the "something's wrong" read had their own pattern to point to, and it wasn't just this one game. They noted that suite seating at events like this is almost always flexible. Multiple rows, open sections, room to move around freely. So the fact that out of all that flexibility, the 2 of them ended up rows apart read, to skeptics, as a choice rather than a coincidence. As one report on the incident summarized it, fans were divided on whether it was a mix-up in seating arrangement or a sign of trouble in their relationship. Both sides had a point, and neither side had anything close to proof. That's really been the defining feature of this entire saga, a total absence of confirmation in either direction. which is exactly the kind of vacuum that keeps a story trending for days instead of hours. What's not in dispute is the bigger picture of who these two are as a couple, and that context matters here. This isn't a pair who avoid the spotlight or rarely appear together. Quite the opposite. Brittany stays active in soccer, Patrick stays busy with Chiefs life, and by most accounts, they remain a strong couple overall, with recent events showing them together often. Just before all this, Brittany had been publicly celebrating Mahomes' new contract, supporting him the way she's known to. That's not the recent public behavior of two people drifting apart. If anything, it's the opposite. A couple whose public footprint right up until this clip looked like business as usual. So then why did this particular moment catch fire the way it did? Part of it is simply who they are. Mahomes draws eyes everywhere, and his World Cup appearance fit that pattern. Anything he does in public gets magnified, seating charts included. Part of it is the setting. Arrowhead hosted the quarterfinal, and local fans were there specifically to cheer on the hometown star, which means there were more cameras, more phones, more angles, catching every seat in that suite than there would be at a random regular season game. And part of it, maybe the biggest part, is that fans have seen this movie before with other NFL couples, and the internet loves running the same play. Memes compared it to other NFL couples almost instantly, because are these two secretly having problems? Is one of the most reliable engagement machines in all of sports media. It doesn't require evidence, it just requires a photo that can be read two ways. What actually seemed to happen in that suite, based on everything available, is a lot less dramatic than the theories. The pair has kids and busy lives. Sitting apart can happen casually, and suites have flexible seating sometimes. Two parents at a long, loud, extra-time World Cup match, one of them locked into the football, the other watching from a seat that happened to be open nearby. That's a mundane explanation. It's just not a viral one. And that gap between the mundane and the viral is really the story here. Because in the days after the clip blew up, the couple didn't retreat from public life at all. Brittany posted later content, and the two of them continued on as a unit, business as usual, no acknowledgement of the theories swirling underneath them. Which brings us to the part of this story that actually has a deadline attached to it, because this couple was about to be thrust right back into the exact same spotlight at the exact same tournament, with the whole internet watching to see where they'd sit next. So where does this leave things? Because this story isn't fully closed, it's still moving. And the next chapter was already lined up before the seating clip even finished trending. Patrick and Brittany were highly likely to be in attendance for the World Cup semifinals between England and Argentina, set to take place at Atlanta Stadium. Same tournament, same team. Mahomes has been vocally supporting all month, same public stage, just a bigger one, with more cameras and a bigger crowd. And the question hanging over that appearance was blunt. Whether the couple would sit together for that next game or apart remained to be seen. That's the thing about a story like this. It doesn't really end with an explanation. It ends with everyone watching the next photo. If they show up shoulder to shoulder in Atlanta, laughing, matching gear, hands linked walking into the stadium, that becomes its own headline. A C, their fine correction lap. And if they end up in separate sections again, even for the most boring administrative reason imaginable, it restarts the entire cycle from scratch. New lip readers, new theories, new comment sections split right down the middle. What we do know is that nothing about their actual public conduct, outside of that one clip, points to anything falling apart. The couple co-owns the Kansas City Current in the NWSL and holds minority ownership stakes in Sporting Kansas City together. That's not just a marriage. That's a shared business partnership built on a sport they both grew up around. Brittany's history as a forward at UT Tyler, a Hall of Fame inductee, with 31 goals in 70 games, and her time playing professionally overseas, isn't just biography. It's exactly why she was in that stadium in the first place, watching a sport she used to play for a living, not accompanying her husband out of obligation. She was there for herself as much as for him. And Mahomes, for his part, wasn't a passive tourist either. Between calling Messi the greatest of all time on social media and showing up in a custom Argentina kit for this specific match, he'd made his rooting interest about as public as a person can make it. A man that locked into a result is a man who's going to look tense. During 90 minutes of nothing, followed by extra time and 3 late goals, regardless of who's sitting next to him. None of that erases the 11 seconds of footage that started this whole thing. The seat gap was real. The phone scrolling was real. The lip readers read of frustration was a genuine professional opinion, not something invented out of thin air. But strip away the furious outburst framing, and what you're actually left with, according to the same read, is a guy complaining about a missed chance, asking for food and laughing at his own yawn on camera. That's not nothing, but it's also not a marriage falling apart. In real time, in front of 60,000 people. What made this story travel as far as it did wasn't really the video, it was the appetite for it. Fans have watched this couple for years now. The contract celebrations, the joint ownership stakes, the matching public appearances, and there's a certain hunger in sports culture to catch the golden couple in a crack, just once. Just to prove they're human too. A row of empty seats between them was enough of an opening for that hunger to pour through. So heading into that Atlanta semifinal, and whatever comes after it, if Argentina keeps advancing, the cameras are going to be locked onto that suite before the ball's even kicked off. Not for the football necessarily, for the seating chart, for where exactly Patrick Mahomes decides to sit, and how close he decides to sit to his wife, because at this point that single decision has become its own piece of theater, whether either of them wanted it to or not. Things get awkward as fans notice Patrick Mahomes clearly avoiding his wife Brittany during World Cup game. It's really weird. Patrick Mahomes sparks speculation after sitting away from wife Brittany at World Cup. ML Football on X, viral video and lip readers. Whole different row. Fans react as Patrick Mahomes skips sitting beside wife Brittany at FIFA World Cup game. Lip reader works out Patrick Mahomes' furious outburst as he sat apart from wife Brittany. https://www.aol.com. Articles lip reader works Patrick Mahomes 174,949,000 out HTML.